Hello, I'm Rico Cavella. Welcome to this episode of Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger positive impact in the world. Now, before I introduce today's episode and our expert guest, I have a quick question for you. If you've been wondering how well you are aging, well, I have the solution for you. You can go to my main website, agelesslivinglifestyle.com, take our free aging assessment. And if you don't like the results, you can book a call with me and we'll discuss what challenges you're having. And I'll give you some quick and easy tips to get you going on the right track. So, the title of today's episode is Cognomovement. It's a new modality for growing a younger brain and a younger body. So, this is going to be really interesting. This is something brand new, something that I hadn't heard about, and I don't think anybody's heard about, but this is going to be really interesting. So, I have a question for you now, too. Is it possible to reverse the signs of aging on the brain and body through simple exercise? Well, our guest today, Bill Mckenna, shares incredible stories of reversing aging and the modality that has made it all possible. Bill's journey from a high thrill pursuits to spiritual exploration led him to discover a method for lasting transformation. Following a near death experience, he delved into the mind body connection, eventually creating Cognomovement. His work combines resilience, insight, and a dedication to help others unlock their potential. So, Bill McKenna, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I
Yes.
I love your podcast.
Oh,
This
thank you.
is this is a square peg in a square hole. We're going to talk about some stuff today. It's going to make people's lives better.
All right. Well, that's what we're all about. So I really appreciate that. Well, let's just start just a little bit. Just briefly tell us a little bit about your journey and how you came to develop this new system.
This system was developed in concert with my business partner Liz Larson. We both had different training in a lot of different modalities, and we came together and created Cognomovement. Now, there are a bunch of discoveries that we made related to your physical and mental health, your brain performance, and as we made these discoveries around your focused vision and its impact on your brain and your peripheral vision and its impact on your brain, your gait and its impact on your brain, your balance or lack of balance, and what's going on with your brain and your eyes. We made many of these discoveries, and 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 as it turns out, for a long time we were seeing incredible results with people changing their lives, kind of they're going in reverse, aging wise, meaning that they've restored their balance, their vitality, and their cognitive abilities. We thought, like, well, we're seeing the changes, but we didn't have any of the science to back it up. But today, I have to tell you, because of AI, we
Mhm.
are able to access the National Institutes of Health, all the research that's available out there. As it turns out, all the things that we're doing, simple moves, we found the research that supported it, that's
Mhm.
published at the National Institutes of Health. It's on our website, and everything from boosting your IQ from 15 to 34 points. It's crazy increases in your mental acuity from things that you wouldn't think are related, like spinning, or like certain eye movements, or acupressure in your ears. All of these things out there actually build emotional resilience, help with your balance, dramatically increase memory, and reduce risk of falling, things
Wow.
like that.
Before we go on, I just want to make sure people, you, you can connect with Bill on his main website. It's Cognomovement.com. We'll put that link in the show description so you can do that. And he has a free 15-minute discovery call that you can get with him and learn more about this and how this can help you. I just want to say too, Bill. I know this. When you first told me about it, I understood a lot of those things because I have a friend who's an advanced kinesiologist, and so I mean they learned a lot of that stuff a long time ago. Kinesiologists, because I know he does tests like eye movement and touch different places, and then he can determine what's going on in your body from all those different type of things. So yeah, there's a real basis for what you develop. But tell us again, what led you to even begin to think about this, and what I mean, how did you actually go about developing these movements? I'm really curious about that.
So so we we were able to do things kind of almost it's a one step at a time, but we
Mhm,
really didn't know that it was one step at a time. So Cogno Movement started off where we were doing some cross body exercises, and we developed it with a ball, and there we used a colorful ball for a few purposes, and the ball uh, was occupying the right side of the brain, and the colors and symbols were occupying the other side of the brain, and by identifying these and moving cross body, we were forcing information across what they call the corpus callosum.
mhm,
One side of your brain is all about creativity, and the other side is logical.
mhm,
So we know that your eyeballs are literally one with your brain and your spinal cord. It's one neurological system. They're not separate.
mhm,
So how it happened is when we were working with people, moving their eyes, it was forcing information into different parts of the brain. And we saw incredible results for people emotionally,
mhm,
where they had a grief, a guilt, a resentment, uh, and that disappeared. But corresponding with that, their gait improved,
mhm,
their mood increased, their mental acuity, uh, being able to figure things out, the confusion, the brain fog just kind of disappeared. But there was you asked how do we make these discoveries?
yeah.
We noticed something very subtle. When we were helping people to move their eyes, tracking tracking an object, what we noticed is that there would be certain positions where they would not track their eyes. They wouldn't be able to look, or if they did look in a certain position, it would be like difficult. Their eyes would blink,
Mhm,
or they would not track the object. And this particular area, they call it nystagmus. And you think it's your eyeball, but really, because every single position is a different part of the brain, what happens is that if that area of the brain is not optimized, not functioning, it's reflected in your eyes. It
mhm,
certainly could be your eyes, but it's a small fraction of the people that have an actual issue with their brain. And these issues are caused by um, a not only a physical injury like an accident or a
mhm,
fall,
mhm,
but they're also caused by emotional injuries.
mhm.
A lot of people don't know this. There's a famous doctor. His name is Dr. Daniel Amen.
Yeah,
Dr. Daniel Amen, everybody probably knows him. He's
yeah,
love him.
yeah.
what he did, he was a radiologist that became a psychiatrist. And what he did is he started scanning people's brains.
Yeah.
And he was ridiculed for it. But his logic was, the psychiatrist, the only doctor that doesn't look at the organ that they treat.
Hmm.
It was like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And the gift that he gave the world, this wonderful man gave the world, is that a lot of things that seem like a mental issue are really simply a physical issue. The that part of the brain's not working.
Hmm.
And 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 he also figured out that an emotional injury, the death of a loved one, the losses, financial catastrophes, they look the same as a physical injury.
Hmm.
So you getting hit by a baseball bat or having that emotional tragedy happen looks the same. But
Uh-huh.
the great news is that we're able to find the areas that via the eyes that you can work. And the beauty of this that we discovered is that, and this is from the Dr. Huberman of Stanford, because of him, we had learned that the eyes and the brain are one.
Hmm.
And that means this is the movable part of your brain because as I move, to a certain position, it's going to affect that part of the brain. And the easiest way for me to demonstrate this is if you saw me and I was looking like this, if I was looking like this,
Hmm.
what would you think about me? What would you think I'm feeling?
Yeah, you have some kind of you're feeling a little bit stressed or sad or unhappy or something.
Boom. Even everybody knows this.
Hmm.
Like even a child, if you look down and they're like, "Oh, they're sad."
Hmm.
Everybody knows it.
Hmm.
It turns out that looking down activates the part of the brain that causes this separation. It causes us to be introspective. It causes us to be sad.
Hmm.
Now, if you have sadness, it's bidirectional. I'll look down,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Negative thoughts. And again, this is NIH published research
Yeah. I,
that,
ju-
yeah,
I was just going to say, from martial arts training, we know that head down is a weak position and head up is a strong position in your body too. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Well, you're so this is physically evident
Hmm.
for all of us. We know the truth of your eye position actually affects the hormonal, chemical, and
Wow.
electric signal of what part of the brain is made hot.
Wow.
Now, or disconnected. Now, the opposite is also true. If you saw me looking like this, what might you think?
I think you were in deep thought.
It'll be ideas, inspiration.
Hmm.
These,
Yeah.
if you see people praying, when people are praying, what are they doing?
Looking up. Yeah.
They're looking up. There are so many. If you saw, in the East, the gurus, right? They're like, their eyes are pinned and rolled up.
Well, also, if you know speakers, when they just pause to try and think of a thought, they're going, if they look up, and then they come out with what they wanted to say. Yeah.
Exactly. So here's the thing: is the discovery that we made is we were finding that people were getting all kinds of crazy increases in their emotional resilience, in their IQ, in the relationships getting better, in their sleep. Imagine getting better sleep. And we were seeing all of this happen. Well, what's going on is you can imagine, just as same as looking down or looking up, that we know different parts of the brain. Imagine that you were doing exercises and you're moving your eyes everywhere, and you're incorporating your peripheral vision and your depth perception. There's real value in this as we age, because so many people start um, being very worried about their balance and falling and that sort of thing, and they
Yeah.
end up shuffling their feet. But when they were younger, they weren't doing that. It's the absence of peripheral vision that starts to close in.
Hmm.
Peripheral vision closes down when we don't exercise it or we get an injury.
Hmm.
All of these pro athletes, right? You've been involved in martial arts, so I can put this in those terms. You've probably seen where people are sparring, and the punch almost seems like slow motion. It's like pop, and the guy, and you're like, how did you not see that coming?
Hmm.
It was like a slow motion, and boom. Well, they didn't see it coming because at one point they had gotten a concussion or an emotional injury that shuts the peripheral vision down,
Hmm.
and it won't be equal. It may be shut down over here and wide open over here, and the guy can come in on that side. But the interesting thing here is that it is not fixed. You can actually do exercises that expand it. And what's more important is that your perception is equal to your peripheral vision. A lot of people, as they age, they start to shut down as far as, this is my way. I eat meatloaf on Wednesday, and I'm gonna have, and that's it. And damn it, don't change anything on me,
Right. Right.
and they have a limited scope of emotions, and it's a downward spiral. As this expands, perspective expands. So perspective mentally follows physically. If you remember the times of your life when things were exciting, and maybe you had gone to a trip to Europe or Hawaii or traveled, you say, "Oh my God, I've always wanted to go to Palm Springs and see the flowers in the spring." And you finally get there, and you open the car door, you get off the plane, and if you can remember, your vision literally expanded. You are taking in the wonder of it all.
Hmm.
This goes along with perspective. As my perspective shuts down, my perspective shuts down emotionally, mentally, physically. But we're not stuck. And the exercises that you can do to do this are simple, and you can do them on your own. You don't need me. We have courses that are self-taught. You watch the videos and you can do the exercises.
Are they basically just with your eyes, or are there other movements besides your eye movements?
There are lots of beyond the eye movements. There's the
Hmm.
basics,
Hmm.
which you begin to get your eyes moving and tracking, but there's much more. Remember, we talked about eyeballs, brain, spinal cord
Hmm.
are one.
Hmm.
Spinal stretches, just
Hmm.
arching your spine over, and rolling your eyes. So if you're rolling your eyes, that's one access to your brain,
Hmm.
and the spinal cord physically is the other. So
Hmm.
you could simply just start arching and rolling your eyes around. You'll find, oh, it's a little difficult here. That is where the money is. That's the money right there. What you can do is work that area. And there's all kinds of things you can do to do that. So that would be one simple exercise that everybody can just start with right today.
That's so
And
good. Yeah.
and the more you do it, the better it works. The interesting thing here is that you're not going to try to have a better mood. I should be more flexible. I really should be a little kinder. I should take care of, painting that fence or whatever. You don't even try. It just starts happening. It's like, oh yeah, I'm out there pulling weeds. Oh yeah, you're doing something different. You're going out for a walk and you're not even trying. The wonderful things that we find is that people are not um, trying to make a change or trying to be better. It's just the connectivity started. Imagine
Well,
you at 20 years old. So it's just that's all it is.
Bill, I'm still wondering. I mean, how'd you ever get the idea to start doing this kind of research and this kind of? How'd you get the idea to even get involved with this?
It was a circuitous path. I had no, I had no interest in doing this. I was an entrepreneur. I had only a few subjects. My subjects were yachts, helicopters, uh, women, and money and stuff like that. I was at a certain period of my life that it was basically me, and very base. um, I had an accident, and I wrecked my yacht in Mexico, and it set off a cascade that I never intended on going on.
Hmm.
For lack of a better term, it was a spiritual awakening.
Every,
And
everything happens for a reason, doesn't it?
yeah, yes, yeah. And 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 I began forgiving, and I began eventually, uh, basically learning a lot of things to help myself and then help others. And it became, just as much as I was compelled to serve myself, it opened in the opposite direction. I became compelled to help to serve others. And so that's what I've been really doing ever since. And I can tell you that it's an incredible joy to bring people back to life.
Wow, that's so good. That's so well said. Well, we just got a couple minutes left here, a few minutes left here. I know they said it's helped athletes improve their performance, students, master learn, improve their learning capacity, people overcome mental barriers, heal from the past, balance your body and mind, all those different things. Just maybe just talk a little bit about that real in the next couple of minutes we have here.
You know, Cognomovement is a little bit hard to talk about. And what I mean by that is that it's like, oh my gosh, it does everything. Well, actually, what it is it goes back to your brain and your nervous system. What is your brain? What aspect of life does your brain and your nervous system control? And the answer is everything.
Hmm.
Your finances are related to what you're thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
Your physical ability, your balance, all your brain, all of your relationships. Everybody knows it. You know, you've got people out there, maybe they were an alcoholic, or maybe and they caused brain damage through that, or drugs, or they were in a war and they got traumatized. Again, all of this comes back to the health of their physical brain and those systems. And when those come online without trying, the other aspects of life simply get better. You can imagine, what would it be like if I was smarter? What and smarter emotionally,
Mhm.
right? There's an emotional intelligence as well as an intellectual intelligence. The thing that is what I would love to give the audience is that it is an utter falsehood that as you age, everything has to degenerate.
Mhm.
Your abilities has to generate. This is 100% false. Now, early in my life, that was what I believed. I thought, oh, that's how it goes. Sit on the couch, grab the remote, and just click away, and until you finally expire. But
Bill,
it's not.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're just almost out of time. That's such a great message, and I really recommend all of our audience, to go and learn more about the great things that you have to offer. And thank you so much for being here. That was so good, so enlightening. And so, as I like to end all of my shows with Einstein saying that knowledge without action is useless. So we always bring you some really good information and knowledge and wisdom, but you got to act on it to make it happen. So if you like today's episode, tell your friends about the Fearless Aging TV show. Thanks everybody for being here.